welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. We're waiting for Rachel, who is seeing off the baby.
Hello! I made it.
Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch.
Episode 211. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all the different recipes. Now we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time I want to cry because the baby is gone, you'll be alerted to it.
James said solo Joe. No, I couldn't do this without Rachel.
Aw, I appreciate that. You totally could. But yes, oh my goodness, it is dolls and it is baby toys and it is pack and plays and it is bouncy seats all over the house.
So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love to celebrate wins, look at different success stories we had throughout the week, and then, of course, answer questions and comments that we found in our Facebook group and our Mighty Network group, as well as comments from last week's Keto Beyond the Couch. Now, what we do is we're going to go ahead. If you're new here, we're going to go through our normal Keto Beyond the Couch. In the last 10 or 15 minutes, we spend talking in the chat. If you have a question, kind of hold off till then, or you can use the super chat function, which is a little $ down below. That will highlight our screen. It also benefits the channel, which we greatly appreciate. It takes a lot to run this channel. This is our full-time job. Some people ask, how can we support you guys? The best way to support us is by actually just watching our videos, sharing them. Oh, my sister's calling. It's her birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Terry. Happy birthday to you and many more.
So yeah, so sharing our videos, hitting the like button, that helps the algorithm. And then we greatly appreciate if you join our Mighty Networks. We have a paid version and a free version. The free version is obviously for everybody. And the paid version is a great way to support us instead of using Patreon. There's links for all that down below. We're not sponsored by them, but we should be because it's my son's company.
Brighter Days Electric.
If you're in Central Florida and you need, or all the way even down here to Broward County, if you need an electrician, call Brighter Days.
We're a little biased.
We're a little biased, but you know what? It's John Paul's business.
It's
He's
Peyton's
really
dad.
good at what he does.
He is.
And we're super proud of him for being 26 years old and already being a master electrician with his own company.
So boy, was I reminded this weekend the importance of preparation.
Yep.
Preparation was key. In between, like, naps or getting ready, like, resetting for the next day made it so that it was smooth sailings as a grandma, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're getting started with something. It's been a while since I've been out of the baby game, right? So prepping her food, her bottles, prepping what she needed to be successful for the day, and then me having on the ready the prepped meals that I needed for the day made all of the difference. So it's so funny because a lot of times when you're primarily at home, you don't necessarily think about, meal prep as much as we think about it when we're, you're going to a workplace or you are going on vacation. We'll meal prep very heavily when we're traveling.
Right.
But when we're at home, I don't think about it nearly as much. But boy, that saved me. That saved Oma. And so just a reminder for people out there that you're like, man, sometimes I feel like I'm getting into the weeds. Meal prep may be your best success.
Yep.
Right?
Well, even Peyton's bottles. So before anybody starts typing anything, her bottles are breast milk.
Yeah, so we brought it, but here's the thing, she's used to it.
Michelle just pumped a whole bunch of milk and had it meal prepped for Peyton.
It was fantastic. So, but see, she's used to, and I'm thinking, you're just gonna go reach for a bottle and give it to her. When you get fussy, that's when I'll go heat up a bottle for you and have it warmed up. You better not. you better start to have that thing slowly warming up before she starts crying, or you're going to really, be in a pickle. So it just reminded me again, don't wait until my cravings are crying out to decide, well, I need to go fix myself a hamburger because that's really what I should be eating. Because then it'll be like, no way.
So let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch.
Hey,
I did
Kathy.
see this from Kathy. Said, non-scale victory. I spent 3 days at a sporting event surrounded by unhealthy choices. 2 of the days, I managed to leave them alone.
Way to go. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, that's for sure.
So let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch. We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. It was from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
This was an inspirational post that I found, and she said, you become unstoppable when you work on things that people can't take away from you. Things like your mindset, your character, your personality, transparency, your entire being.
I love that so much because, yes, I feel like you need to be thinking about that whenever you are trying to start something new, you're getting healthy. And a lot of times we think about getting healthy is just limited to nutrition. And we don't work on our negative self-speak. We don't work on character development. We need to work on transparency, just like that, meme says. All of those things work to help us be the most successful that we can be.
Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive, right? No. And if I am trying to do something new, if I'm trying to leave sugar behind, which will be calling my name, right? If I'm trying to leave carbs behind, I better be working on my mindset, because if I think to myself, I always fail, I'm a loser, I always, eventually I fall off the wagon, then in those moments where a carb craving is kicking in or I'm trying to walk away from sugar, then but Rachel, you're a failure, remember? Right. That really can undermine what you're trying to do.
Now, I do want to say real quick, I know we've got a lot, and I have to go pick up our RV as soon as this is over and then get home because we have a podcast with Becca later on today.
Yay!
I saw she put that in, and then I have a game in Miami where I have to leave here around 3 o'clock. But I did want to mention, if you are going to Ketocon, Sarah is trying to arrange groups of people to do things together. Things like going out and grabbing something to eat, sitting together at some of the different talks, visiting different vendors as a group, as a Two Crazy Ketos community. So make sure you reach out to her over on our Mighty Networks group. Again, it's Sarah Gustafson. I know she's been putting up posts about it, but it's really cool to see our community doing things as a community.
Well, because that's the thing. I think that probably the biggest obstacle for Ketocon is it's so big that it can be challenging to make it feel little. Like if you're somebody hey, I like to do things independently, you could absolutely go there, see all of the things independently,
never talk to a person.
And never interact with somebody, but that is not our desire. Our desire is for, if you would like to have people to sit with at the different talks, you would know, and the schedule is already out, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And so, she's going to be putting together, and since she's, going to be leading this, she's going to start kind of picking out some of the talks that she really wants to see. So we make sure we get that in. And then we will work around some of the other options. When could lunchtime be? If people were interested in going together, walking around even through the vendors could be really nice, because then it feels like you're shopping together, right? You're window shopping down all the vendor sections. And just a friendly reminder, if you're going to Ketocon, bring yourself a drawstring backpack or a little tote bag or a big purse, because there is lots of giveaways
and a spare
at
suitcase.
Ketocon. Yes.
And a spare suitcase.
Lots of
I
giveaways.
did want to comment. So last week we had mentioned the fact that we have to pay our own way to these different events, and someone had said well, everybody's got to pay their way. And that is true. Our point is a lot of people think that the speakers at these different events, they're paid to be there.
Yeah.
And we're not. We don't get an honorarium. We're speaking, we're emceeing, and we still have to pay all our travel to get there. The only thing we get from the different conferences we go to is
a ticket to get in.
Admission into the actual conference. But as far as hotels and flights and all that stuff, we try to get to 6 to 8 of them a year, because community is super important
Very
to
important.
us. And so our whole point is we're not paid to get there. We don't make any money if you go. It's just important to us that you go, because you're going to get into community, which kind of leads to today's topic, which is how do you be successful on keto? You have to be in community.
Yeah.
You're going to have a very difficult time being successful long-term, staying on keto, doing it as a lifestyle if you don't have community. It's something that even Dr. Lenskis talked about during our podcast.
Well, and it really goes back to mindset too, because if you have a mindset where you feel like you're all alone, that can be very challenging because you can quagmire into that, like, I'm all alone. And then in moments where you're like, gosh, I really would like to have some acceptance, I would like some community, then you're naturally going to be like, well, I need to go back to that carb-rich life in order for me to have it.
Right.
So it's really important that you get into community so that you can, that helps with that mindset that you're not alone.
Yep. Okay, let's jump into our first subscriber of the week. It is Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
She said, I'm in the middle. My brother is in a white shirt. We both started keto lifestyle in 2018. I've lost 50 pounds. He lost 60 pounds.
Wow.
We had dinner at Fogo de Chao.
Fogo de Chao.
Meat sweats.
Oh my gracious. Look at that beautiful family. Boy, nothing is more attractive than families getting well together. Does
right.
that not look beautiful in a photo, in actuality, in real life? Seeing families out, enjoying life together, and getting well is pretty powerful.
Next one we have is from Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Jamie said, so we all know the front camera is a big old jerk when you aren't expecting it. I posted the first pic with a proper selfie a few months back to show the difference, but looks so much better. Not pretty, but better. Edit, I did not mean to imply I don't think I'm pretty.
All right, good.
The camera angle is not pretty,
Okay.
but it really shows a change.
Oh my gracious, yes, look at that. It is so important that we are taking pictures because look at that side by side. That is a huge difference already. Like you can see the contour of your face. I mean, there's body recomposition that is happening. It was so cute this morning. Joe has been doing a lot of diving. And so
I finished my master diver stuff.
Congratulations, sir.
And last night I finished all my coursework for Dive Guide, and I also did, what else did I do? The Science of Diving, which, interesting, do you know that you'd burn like almost double the calories when you're diving?
I believe it. Well, it's so funny because he came in this morning and he was like, look at my abs. Look what's happening. Because so it is, I mean, you're having like a body recomposition.
Well, because you're burning a lot of energy while you're diving, not only because of the movement and working on your legs, but your body's also fighting the cold. You know, it is 75 degrees down there. You are wearing a wetsuit, but your body is trying to stay warm, which increases your metabolism because it's trying to warm up.
Something fun to do if you're like, you know what, this is the year where I start moving as it gets warmer in places. Be planning, to get involved in pools. When they open up the pools in like May, it's not very far away from when they start to open up pools. That's a great place for people to get started. And I know at some of the YMCAs, they even have like indoor pools across the country where you can start getting in some exercises, even in a pool. And it's a great way to move your body. We don't have to just be on a treadmill or even, taking a walk outside. I know it's really cold still in places, but you could go to an indoor pool even now.
Yep. Okay, let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the comments.
We're going to be baby free tonight.
Yep.
I'm going to cry.
Miss Island Girl said, hey, Joe and Rachel, you're my YouTube and podcast. You're my go-to YouTube and podcast when you need to kick in
the fanny.
The fanny. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you for all you do. Thanks for being a member, for being here.
Comments like this is why we do it.
We're going to keep doing it.
Yep. So let's start off with the first comment from YouTube last week from Rachel.
Ooh, I like your name, Rachel.
Said, appreciate your encouragement. I found that my gummy vitamins are sabotaging my daily carbs. I'm finding alternatives for all of them now. No excuses.
That's great.
So if you guys want a gummy, we have the Electrolyte gummies. As far as vitamins, you don't need them. Just eat meat.
Yeah.
You don't need them. Especially that kind of stuff, like it really, I'm sorry to offend anybody.
They're marketing it to us pretty heavily.
But all those keto gummies or even the regular gummies, you're basically paying for expensive pee.
Yeah.
Your body can't utilize most of it. Realize that even minerals, They're forms of magnesium that
Oh,
companies
my
can
gracious.
put magnesium in. It's a rock.
Yeah.
Your body can't even use it.
Yeah.
They can pull different types of vitamins and put them in here and say, hey, you're getting vitamins. Technically you are, but is it bioavailable to your body? Most cases, the answer is no.
Yeah.
And so you're basically just paying for expensive urine. But the number one place to get all of your vitamins is absolutely just in eating your meat, especially ruminant animals.
It's cute. Becky's got beef as your vitamin.
Yeah. And then as far as vitamin D, especially as we're coming into the spring and the summer,
Get out
the
and get
number
some of
one
that
place to
sun.
get your vitamin D is in the sun. Spend every day, as we get into the warmer months, you want to go outside every day and spend about half the amount of time that it takes for you to get sunburnt with as much skin exposed as possible, like bathing suit type. Even if you just go walk around the block in a bathing suit, but expose as much skin as you want without
don't get
suntan
arrested.
lotion. No. Well,
I mean, expose enough skin.
without suntan lotion.
That
Now, you can put
neighbors don't
suntan
start
lotion on
moving.
your hands and your face because your body doesn't absorb a lot of vitamin D there. But you want to expose as much skin as possible without suntan lotion because your body can actually take that vitamin D and store it for later use, unlike the
cool?
food that we eat. The next best place to get vitamin D is actually from eating pasture-raised chicken eggs because all of that vitamin D that they're getting goes right into your
They're
eggs.
hanging out in the outside.
But you need pasture-raised.
Yeah.
Next one we have is from Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen. I started walking laps around the hall of my apartment building. In January, I could only do 2 laps, and now I'm doing 9.
Yes.
Kathleen, thank you for sharing this. 1 lap is about 200 feet. I enjoy this because my friend neighbor does it with me. I cannot walk without a walker, so I use the walker to do my laps. Also use a Fit Glide when I am at the computer. Keto has been slow for me though. I have health issues. I am more focused on it than weight loss, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
The walking is keeping my spirits up. Now hear this. Hear this. Like, it is helping her mood, right? You're thinking to yourself, I'm going to not move and that's going to improve my mood. No, moving is improving her spirits. Thank you for this video because it had a lot of good information in it. Thank you for your post. And this is a challenge to all of us. She's doing this and getting a little better every single day utilizing a walker.
Yep.
If you are
It's
not
still movement.
If you're not using a walker and I'm not using a walker and you're not using a walker, we need to get our behinds outside and start walking.
Yep.
I feel like that's a personal challenge, don't you? We need to get moving.
Alyssa and John said, yep, diving can increase your metabolism, which means your body will continue to burn calories at a higher rate even after the dive is over.
Yeah.
One of the reasons you're so hungry after a dive. Because again, like it's funny. So even I went diving yesterday and you know, I'm not cold in the water. Though at the end of the second dive, I was a little cold. Like about the last 10, 15 minutes, I was like, yeah, I'm getting a little cold. But we had 2 very long dives. Each dive was well over an hour. There were like 26 people on the boat. And so you had me and another person who was visiting from South Carolina who is an instructor. We were just on a fun dive. And so the captain kind of looked at us like, you know what, you guys, like, I want you the first ones in because I know you're going to be the last ones out. There were a lot of students on the boat. And, like, I trust you guys.
That's nice.
And so go do your thing. And so, yeah, we knew we would be the last ones out. So we had this really long dive. And, again, 75 feet of water for over 2 hours. Your body, even with a wetsuit, is going to start going like, hey, I'm a little chilly. It's got to speed things up. When I get off the water, that's when I get cold. Because now your body, I put my jacket on, but now your body has to like really start warming up. But you also want to do that very slowly. The last thing you want to do is go for, if you're super cold, go jump in a hot shower because that can actually put you into shock. So you have to let your body speed up, like
warm
come
up
up
naturally.
Next one we have is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
As to sugar cravings, I have found an element electrolyte drink just after dinner instead of desserts works for me. I don't use an entire package, but just open a package, add a little bit to a glass of water to sip when everyone else has dessert. I always carry some in my pocket to restaurants too, and it works perfectly for me.
Now, I tell you, now my mom, because of course she came over to see the great grandbaby this week, we were talking about electrolytes and how she, reminds herself to get it in and stuff like that. And so I said, have you had the chocolate or caramel or chocolate mint element hot? Have you took it? Now, we use great big mugs. You've seen the size of our mugs, right? So I had that great big mug, filled it up with hot water from the tea kettle, and added chocolate element for her, stirred it up, and she said, oh my goodness, this is the most delicious hot chocolate. And because, we don't really work up a big sweet tooth, it was very sweet because she doesn't eat a lot of sweetened things. So she was like, this is delicious. And it's great because she's very concerned about having caffeine after a certain hour of the day.
Right.
So for her, she's like, I really like cutting off my coffee intake at a certain time, but boy, it would be nice to have a hot beverage in the evening. So she was like, this is it. I'm going to be drinking my chocolate element in the evening because it won't keep me up, but it's going to give me some good electrolytes. So if you never tried that, try it. It is tasty on its own. Now, we add it to coffee, but I'm telling you, just hot water and that chocolate element is delicious.
See here, Alyssa and John put, ribeye has vitamin B12, vitamin B6, vitamin B3, niacin, vitamin B2, riboflavin, vitamin B1, thiamine, vitamin K2, vitamin E, vitamin A in a small amount. About the only thing you can't get from your beef is vitamin C, but your body actually can use things to give you enough vitamin C. So, yeah, beef is amazing.
Yeah.
Next one is from Linda.
Hey, Linda. Okay, Rachel and Joe, I have to let you know what progress I have made on this 2-day journey. In 2 days, I've lost 1.8 pounds and 6 inches on my body. I am excited. I haven't seen 146 since October 2022, and I was 143 then. I'm 65 years old, and I'm only 5 feet tall. So finally, I'm getting my body back on track. To some, it's a small achievement, but for me, it is a victory win. Let me tell you, the victory is you saying to yourself, I am making progress. We need to say that. You wake up in the morning, I used to say some really ugly things to myself first thing, like you're nowhere near where you need to be.
Yep.
Instead of saying that, how about we wake up and we start the day by saying, I am making progress. I am headed in the right direction. And even just having a positive mindset about yourself is progress. So congratulations on that, because that is really, really good.
Yep. I did see here. Cindy said, no way on earth I would walk anywhere in a bathing suit. I don't even own one as I'm not a pool person. You don't need to walk anywhere. Go sit outside in the backyard.
Yeah.
Go sit in
we
the sun.
won't tell nobody.
Find a private place. Just expose as much skin as possible, like bathing suit type skin to the sun.
Or wear
so
a
your body
tank
can
top.
absorb it.
You could wear a tank top.
Yeah. The point
capris.
is expose your skin to the sun without suntan lotion.
Yeah, but
now,
you can do it in your backyard.
We are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but I truly believe if you want to use suntan lotion, I would not use it to get your vitamin D, but if you do, if you're going to spend extended times outside, yes, we want you to protect yourself. Use our homemade suntan lotion. We have a recipe video. But I truly believe a lot of the suntan lotions that are on the market actually cause cancer. My personal opinion, but if you look at the ingredients in there, many of the ingredients in the commercial suntan lotions actually are known carcinogens.
Well, I will tell you.
And you talk about, like, I think that they got a thing like, hey, let's tell everybody if you don't use suntan lotion, you're going to get skin cancer. And then they keep buying more and more and more
keep upping the SPF every time.
Which doesn't do anything.
And I will tell you that I used to have, and my grandfather did it, my mom had to do it, and then I was doing it, where I was getting a lot of stuff burnt off my face.
You haven't used suntan lotion in 3 years,
and
I don't even get burnt anymore.
And I have not had to go and get anything else removed.
Right.
And it's very painful if you've ever had skin cancer burnt off your face. Like, it is very, very painful. But yeah, ever since, and the only time I ever use suntan lotion, it's the one that we made, our recipe for suntan lotion.
And again, this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I've spoken to a lot of people about
keto issue.
This
is like a
the
canola
chemicals in there
issue.
are not good. Just like sunglasses actually are not super great for you because you're limiting what the sun can do for your body. Next one we have is from Mare Bear.
Hello.
Great, Joe. You're drinking out of that Stanley cup again. I couldn't take it anymore, and I ordered one. Well, I'm going to blame Miriam.
Yeah, and Lynette and Holly from Keto Chow, because they had each of them. I think Lynette bought them each one for like Christmas this past year. And boy, do they come in some fun colors.
Yeah.
And so they were
Not
just
sponsored.
so pretty. We're not sponsored or affiliated with them. It's funny that it's sad that like you almost have to say that because people think that you're saying stuff and you don't mean it, but we mean it.
Yeah.
We're people of integrity. But it was funny that once we saw all those beautiful colors, Joe was like, yeah, I really want to get one now. Plus they're soft. They feel good.
I like them. Well, that's the more expensive one, but it's the one that the TikTok started. Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
I was just thinking, I'm sorry if my shirt is a little bit overwhelming, but Peyton picked it out this morning. Because I wasn't sure that we wouldn't have her for the live stream.
Yeah.
And she likes looking at stripes, so.
Yep. First one is from Christine.
Hey, Christine. I feel silly posting this, but if I don't, I simply won't stick to it. This is day one for me. If anyone is looking for an accountability buddy, I would love to partner up. My starting weight is 283 pounds. I have carb binged my way through the pandemic, and I've put on 60 pounds, in the last year. I found out a few months ago that I am pre-diabetic. This isn't my first rodeo with weight loss, but every other time I've lost weight, it's been through extreme calorie deficiency where I'm hungry all the time. I'm hoping this will go better. Wow, Christine, this ain't our first rodeo either. I love that you said that because we get it. We've been on that hamster wheel of like lose and gain and lose and gain. And so this is in our Facebook family group. So if, reach out to Christine.
And I saw a bunch of people, one comment on it was great. The entire community is your accountability partner.
Love it.
And again, that goes back to you need community to be successful. Can you possibly do this on your own?
Sure.
Yeah. But it's a struggle, and we don't want to struggle through life. But I know that when you have community, I mean, heck, you guys are our support system.
Yes,
I
you
know
are.
people message, oh, well, you guys, it's so easy. No, if it wasn't for you guys, you keep us going. You keep us not only on keto, but you also keep us doing what we're doing here because we see posts of people who have had life change. We're like, yep, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really important to have community, and you have our Mighty Network group, you have our Facebook group. You could reach out on either one. We spend a lot of time in Mighty Networks. Mighty Networks also has an instant chat, which I absolutely love because you can go in there at 2:00 in the morning and say, hey, I'm struggling. Can somebody talk me off the ledge?
And there's somebody
and there's always somebody in there.
Well, because in some part of the world, it's not 2:00 in the morning, right? Like, so that's really nice. And it's, it's important to know you're loved. It's important to know that people care about you. I think that, part of the reason, it was very new for Peyton to be at our house. We were, she's not with us all the time and, you're waking up in a strange place and stuff. And it's hard, but like, she could feel the love, right? You feel the love in community, and that's what makes it better, right? So like, become a part of the community, get involved, put yourself out there, be willing to come to conferences. It is an investment, yes. Try to go to one that is close to you, but it's important. This past weekend, I know Ohio had like another meetup, right? Mm-hmm. Go out to one of these meetups and just get in community because it's good to know that you have friends and that you're not by yourself. Yeah.
Alyssa and Johnson, I found the email that Relight or Redmond switched from calcium lactate to calcium carbonate, which makes Relight easier to mix and calorie free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be coming out in the spring sometime, I'm assuming after Ketocon. So right now, any of the Relight sticks they have left, they're having a big sale. Use the link down below.
I like making...
But I'm excited for that because the biggest issue, we love Redmond Relight.
Yeah, we do.
But the biggest issue that a lot of people do have with it is that it doesn't mix well, and that is just the calcium, that it takes a lot longer for that calcium to dissolve in the water.
I'll tell you,
so I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited about it, and like, again, you can usually get like now the old ones at a discount. So check it out on their website. But I like to use the ones that I currently have, like the this first version of Redmond in my Vitamix with ice. Makes a fantastic slushy. I just love, especially the lemon lime and the watermelon, like as a slushy, it's delicious.
Yep. Next one we have is from Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
Here's to deciding I am worth this and moving beyond my fear, beyond fears of vulnerability and intimacy, beyond fears of my worth and my history of trauma. I've been wanting this and putting it off for weeks after falling back off the bandwagon after being on for a week. I knew I was coming up with excuses and I didn't ever want the standard American diet foods I was eating. It was just fear of being happy, of being loved, of being seen, valued, wanted. But I don't want to live in fear anymore. Tomorrow isn't the start of day one, as this isn't a fad or a temporary for me. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of my life.
Melanie, I love that mindset. And I hope that really resonates with other people as well. Thank you for your vulnerability and sharing that. But please know, yes, you are loved. You are valuable. You are cherished. We treasure your life. We partner with you in celebrating this life. I'm glad you woke up this morning and that you are breathing in and out. And I hope that you feel the love that we have for you, but you are not by yourself. And again, I actually like that she said it's not day one, but this is just the continuation of the rest of our lives. I love that.
Next one is from Christina.
Hey, Christina. Hi, everyone. I've been experiencing some issues with insomnia. Some nights I literally can't fall asleep. Other nights I can fall asleep but wake up at 2 a.m. and then struggle to fall back asleep. I've been reading that this could be a result of histamine intolerance, which is common in people with autoimmune. I have celiacs and also battle SIBO. I started taking quercetin and it's helping. I do wear blue blocker glasses and keep room temperature at 66 degrees. I was wondering if anyone else struggles with sleep and what you have done to improve it. Any help is appreciated.
So a few suggestions before we look into a bunch of medications. Number one, make sure you're getting enough magnesium. So magnesium will help you with going to sleep. Keto Chow's magnesium capsules are amazing for that. Also, what is it? Your night juice from? Oh
my goodness! If you wouldn't
Sleep
say,
Aid.
yeah,
it's from Equip.
Yes,
that's really good.
Sleep. It's yellow.
Yeah, I forget the name of it.
If you wouldn't ask me,
or
I
you
would
could also buy Calm. CALM.
Oh, Smart Sleep.
Smart
it's
Sleep.
right
There you go. The other thing I would do is maybe try eating a little bit earlier, especially if you're eating higher fat, because as your body gets set up on fat and you get a lot of energy from fat, at least for me, I find if I eat a high fat meal, I start going, oh my gosh, I've got so much energy and I have a hard time falling asleep. So that's another thing you can do. The blue blockers are definitely going to help, but what you want to do, especially in the evening, is switch to an orange lens and then a red lens.
Right.
So we've got a whole video with the creator of Vivarays. You don't have to use Vivarays. There are other ones.
There's
going
lots of them
on
out
the
there.
internet and on Amazon. You'll find a lot of different ones. But what you're looking to do is block out different types of light, not just the blue light. A lot of the blue blockers actually aren't very good. But when it comes to the evening, you have to think about ancestrally, before we had electricity in our house, right? What did you do? It was sunny out, and then when the sun went down, we moved to candlelight. Well, candlelight is very different than the lights that we have in our house, the
Sure
LEDs
is.
and things like that. So when you put on the orange type lenses, what happens is it's kind of imitating for your body like fire. And so now you're eliminating not just blue, but you're eliminating some of the other colors on the spectrum. That helps you kind of wind down. Not exposing yourself to TVs and things like that once about 2 hours before you go to bed will also help you. Then about an hour or two before going to bed, you want to put on the red ones, which is pretty much going to block out
It is,
like
you
all
are
of
out.
your blues and your greens, and everything will look red. But within a half hour, you're usually asleep. But those are the things that I would look at before resorting to a lot of different medications.
Well, the other thing is soon when you wake up in the morning, go and step outside and let the whites of your eyes, let your skin see the sunlight, because that also indicates that a new digestive day has begun, and it starts that clock ticking on the melatonin you need in 12 hours. You know, that a lot of times we don't go outside and let us know that like a new day has dawned until noon or 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not ready for it.
CSCD, thank you for the $10 super sticker. It was a pear character jumping up and down saying #1 fan. Thank you very
I'm your
much.
#1 fan.
Next one is from Queso Going.
What is the best oil fat to use for keto chow for fat loss?
Okay. We got to take out the fat loss. Okay, let's take out that part first. What is the best oil or fat to use for keto chow? My personal opinion is butter. If you don't want to use butter, avocado oil, coconut oil. The coconut oil, it has to be done just like butter, where you have to melt it and use warm water because it will solidify once it gets below 74 degrees, I believe it is.
I know when it's too hot, when it melts in the house.
I forget the exact
the house
solidification,
is too hot.
but it's right around 74 degrees or something like that. So you can also use bacon fat, but some people like olive oil. I personally don't like olive oil because it's got a distinct taste.
It does have a distinct taste.
For me, I would say using butter first. My #1 go-to is melted butter, followed by avocado oil. Now, as the reason we say not heavy whipping cream is #1, heavy whipping cream in excessive amounts for me bloats me. And then also it does have carbs because all heavy whipping cream has carbs, 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. So if you're using 4 ounces, you're eating over 3 total carbs just in heavy whipping cream. And if you're doing that a couple times a day, that's where we can easily
Carb creep.
have carb creep and exceed the amount of carbs that it takes for us to lose weight.
All those carbs are creeps.
Now, as far as fat loss, are you using keto chow as your sole source of nutrition? If you are, I strongly suggest you don't do that and you use it for 1 or 2 meals, and then you make sure you're eating a whole bunch of meat. Oh, Chris Bear is here from Hawaii.
Well, hello,
Said
Chris
Hawaii
Bear.
has wild chickens. It's 4:30 and the roosters are crowing like the sun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
isn't
You're
2
probably
hours
trying
from
to get
rising.
some rest. But tell those chickens I said hi. Do they have hula skirts on?
So I would strongly suggest don't use keto chow as your sole source of nutrition. Even Chris Bear would tell you that. You need to be eating meat. When you are using keto chow, you do need to have at least 10 grams of fat to absorb the nutrients and the vitamins. But for me, I'm going to tell you all of your shakes should have at least 3 to 4 tablespoons of melted butter, or 3 to 4 ounces of heavy whipping cream, or 300 to 400 calories of avocado oil, because you need the fat. If you are drinking keto chow, especially as your sole source of nutrition, at the end of the day, if you're going to look at calories, you should be somewhere between 1,700 to 2,000 calories. If you're not consuming a lot, you may have some initial weight loss, but you're going to quickly hit a stall.
And that's what we
and
don't
stay
want.
there.
Yeah, we don't want
so
you frustrated.
need fat. I know people think that doesn't make sense, but you need fat to burn fat because fat is your fuel. And you need something to stoke the fire.
Well, and that's the thing, a lot of times we have to think about what is your goal long term. What do you want long term? I want to lose weight and I want to keep it off.
Right.
I don't want a cycle of lose and gain and lose and gain. The only way that you're going to keep it off is if you do something that is sustainable. And if you are calorie restricting down below 1,000 calories a day because you're like, I'm gonna lose me a mess of weight, yes, you will. But I am telling you, as somebody who gained 70 pounds back on 500 calories a day, you won't get to keep that weight loss. And I don't want that for you. I'm not trying to be a food pusher on you. I just really want you to be able to lose weight, but then maintain weight loss. That's my prayer for you.
Yeah. John said olive oil is not good for mayo either.
Yeah, I like
agree. Some
avocado.
people like it. It just,
I
to me,
like
it's
the
got a
avocado
strong
oil
taste.
better too.
Next one is from Wendy.
Hey Wendy, hey Keto family, posting here for advice. My regular friends just don't understand. I've been keto for 2 years and I've lost 90 pounds.
Wow.
I'm around 170 at 5'4". I feel like I have 30 more to go to be in the healthy range. My family and friends say I'm skinny now, which I'm not, and to not lose any more weight. Probably they don't want you losing more weight because they got to change what they're doing, right? They're like, if she keeps having success, I'm going to have to do something. I still have a large belly and overall don't think 170 is skinny by any means. Do I look and feel better? Yes. Do I look skinnier than I was at 260? Yes. It really hasn't bothered me much as I know they mean well and it's been a drastic change. My issue is I've been totally stalled at this weight for about 9 months. This week I plan to do a fast and then an egg fast and then really start tracking macros hardcore again. And what point did you know you were done and switched to maintenance phase? What did you do to help a really long stall? Do you think it's a long stall? Is my body telling me that I am done? That's a great question.
It is a great question. So I'm going to put a few more questions out to you.
Yeah.
And so you can answer on the comments of this one, unless you happen to be in here, Wendy. But number one, I would say, so you've lost all this weight. What were you eating before?
Right.
Were you severely under eating? Because if you were, that's one of the causes for stall. Then we have to look at your sleep, your stress level, and your movement. How are you handling those things? Because you can have the absolute perfect diet on point, but if you're not handling sleep, stress, and moving, then you're not going to have results. You will have results at the beginning, but eventually you're going to be stuck. As far as maintenance, I personally don't think there's ever such thing as maintenance. I think
feel like we're living
maintaining your
proof.
weight is probably the hardest thing. I think maintaining your weight is harder than actually losing the weight.
It sure is.
But that is because we're always battling sleep, stress, and movement. That's why cardio, and I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble, cardio is the worst way to lose weight. Why? Because the second you stop burning that fuel and you'll gain all the weight back. What is the best type of movement? Just moving, first of all, and then building muscle, because muscle increases your metabolism. Cardio is great for your heart. I'm not saying don't do cardio. Great for your heart.
It's great for
great
anxiety.
For your lungs. Yeah.
It's great for, you know what I mean, to enjoy your life. Like,
Right.
that is really good.
But it is horrible for losing weight.
Yeah.
In fact, Bronson just put up things like stop using cardio on your rest days. So I think maintenance is hard. Do I think your body is telling you it's time for maintenance phase just because you're in a stall? No, I think you need to look at other things, switch things up. Our body likes change. So when we change things up, one of the ways we broke our stall was starting to really evaluate going, hey, you know what? Every once in a while, a fast is good. It's a good reset.
Yeah.
And that really helped. Also, we found out we were under eating. So all of those things, as you start to increase the amount of fuel you're eating, all of a sudden your body's metabolism could speed up. Then you can cut a little bit off and you find you start losing weight even though you were eating more food.
And if you are just eating and you're like, I feel really great, I feel good, I feel, I'm enjoying my life, and that's what we were doing. Every now and then, track what you are actually eating. I'm not saying determine your macros and then track it to stay on your macros. I'm saying track what you are enjoying eating and then take a look at that. And then you're going to see, is there room that you want to move things around? A lot of times when you track it, you're thinking, doing heavy whipping cream and all that kind of stuff. Track exactly how much you're actually eating. Then take a look and say, oh my gracious, there's room for me to lower carbs.
Yep.
Or maybe I want to lower the fat in some issue area. Or maybe I want to up the protein. But you need to, I don't like to eat to what is a prescribed tracking. I like to track what I'm actually eating.
So you can get an idea of where you're at, and you may find out you're under eating.
Yeah.
Jackie, thank you
Hey,
very much for the
Jackie.
$5 super chat. Said in the last 364 days, I've averaged eating a half a stick of butter, and I've lost tons of inches. Don't be afraid of calories and fat.
Great advice.
Dr. Barry had a great video last week that counting calories is stupid. Next one is from Carrie.
He doesn't mince words. Hey, Carrie.
Carrie said, I don't know where I would be today without the doctors in this keto community.
Awesome.
They have been the guiding light that led me away from the so-called healthy lifestyle of excessive exercise, 6 meals a day, high carb, high fiber, whole grain, and ultra-processed seed oils. Today, I feel the best I have in nearly 20 years, and while my keto journey continues, I'm closing in on my end goals. The revelation of this journey is that I now know that the struggles and failures of my past weren't my fault. There was a time where no matter how hard I worked at doing what I was told to regain my health, I progressively got sicker to the point that I believed I could not succeed. Today, I progressively grow healthier and stronger, and I know I will succeed.
Well, and I was so thankful for Dr. Linskis to be able to say, if you didn't see the podcast, it was awesome. Like, it was just a really interesting podcast where he shared, you know, until the doctors know better, they don't know to do better. You know,
That's why Dr. Barry says, like, your job is to educate your doctor lovingly.
Lovingly. But I mean, but they've all had to come to that journey themselves. He was like, when he was so surprised listening to, you know, Dr. Fung and like listening to people in the keto space, here he was eating his fiber bar on his break at work as a doctor. You know, he was eating his smoothie and his, you know, a bowl of oatmeal, just the same as everybody, because he was using like a, you know, try to avoid heart healthy diet, you know, pre-diabetes situation himself. Dr. Barry's talked about how he was a doctor that was 300 pounds. Like, he knows they had to come to the conclusion for themselves that these things like high carb, high fiber, eat 6 small meals a day, like, in order for them to be able to talk to you and to share what they've learned, they had to learn it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm really thankful that they were willing. Think of the humility that it takes to be practicing medicine the same way for 20 years. And as you grow, you're becoming a senior in your space, right? You're becoming like, hey, I've been a doctor for this long. I'm no longer a kid. I am very well respected in the medical field. And for them to say, wow, everything that I've learned has been turned upside down. And now I have to decide, do I care about my patients enough for me to say, I'm going to go back to square one and I'm going to start over and start prescribing things completely differently. Can you imagine the humility that it takes for them to come to that and start prescribing keto? Yeah. I mean, I'm so thankful that they're willing to say, like, yeah, I used to do things differently and I'm willing to change. Yeah. That takes a lot of humility.
And that's why we always encourage you guys, please support the different doctors in this community, because they've put their careers on the line.
They really have.
And we appreciate that. Next one is from Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Cody said, I completed a 72-hour fast at noon yesterday. It was the first time I've done this, and it was easy. Oh, I've done them, but white-knuckled through them. This time, it went by quickly and was very easy. My reasons for doing, to make friends with hunger. The way beef, butter, bacon, egg had taught me to make friends with my satiety. To begin to heal my gut biome, and to help with the control of my blood glucose and insulin sensitivity. I feel like in one way or another, I accomplished all my goals. I saw glucose as low as 70 and on the average about 96, which is amazing for me. I know she texted me. I was like excited. The other thing it helped me to do was connect with God and mankind during this Lent.
Wow.
I took time when I got truly hungry to meditate on the fact that I am blessed because I could stop at any point and eat something, while so many people feel this way daily and go to bed hungry at night.
Wow.
I will tell you that I got out my checkbook and I sent money to local food banks and national organizations that feed and take care of those who don't have. Man, I can't believe how much I've learned in just 72 hours.
Cody, I can't even tell you, first of all, number one, how much you have blessed this man. You have challenged him because of your attitude and mindset. It's like every single time Joe hears from you, I can tell you he's like, man, Cody gets it. And you're right. I mean, we have absolutely no excuse to have a bad attitude at all. And I love this mindset of, I need to make friends with hunger. What are we saying all the times when it's like, it's not fair that I have a craving, or it's not fair that I'm hungry and like I'm having to do without, and here all I'm doing is eating this, boring old meat, and everybody else is getting to have a donut and I'm not getting to have it. When you say that, oh my gosh, there are people all over this world who are going to bed hungry. The fact that we know what food will speak health into our bodies, and we have an opportunity to actually buy that food and eat that food whenever we need to, we are blessed. We are so richly blessed. And we have the opportunity to eat when we want to and not have to eat when we don't want to. Right. And I thought that is such a powerful statement right there. And the fact that in the moments when you were like aware, wow, I'm hungry right now and I'm going to choose to fast in spite of it. And for you to take the time to get your checkbook out and give to people who are in need, that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Next one is from Mel.
Hey, Mel.
What is the secret to keto chow made with melted butter? Every time I do it, I end up with little chunks of butter all through it.
Warm it up.
So butter and coconut oil, as well as any other fat source that solidifies at room temperature. You need to melt it. So specifically, we're going to talk about butter. Melt the butter, and then you need to use warm water. What is warm water? I would say about 90 degrees. So a temperature at which the butter, if you put it in there, will not solidify. So 90 degrees, 95 degrees, I find that you don't want to use super hot water because you could affect the vitamins.
Yeah.
But warm water, you're going to put, so how much water? I use about 16 ounces, or we actually fill it all the way to the top of the blender bottle, but a good amount of water is 16 ounces. A lot of times when people go, I don't like keto chow, it's too thick, especially with butter, or it's too salty, many times it's because you're just not adding enough water. When you look at that blender bottle, after you add your fat source and your water, it should be filled almost all the way to the top, maybe just below the threads at minimum, and we fill it all the way up to the top and then put the top on. And so like you can't add it. Then we'll add water in through the top. But that's the size of it. So use warm water and use a blender. If you don't use warm water, what'll happen is you have the melted butter, and then when you add in the water, you're going to get chunks, and there's no way of getting that out other than warming everything back up again. You could technically do it by just putting it in a blender bottle and shaking, but you're probably going to shake your arm off because what you have to do
That's a lot of shaking.
The acacia gum or gum acacia that is in keto chow acts as an emulsifier, which is why the butter doesn't solidify. But you have to get a good blend with the acacia fiber and then the butter and the water. So that's why using a blender, a stick blender, an immersion blender, any of those things will work. And honestly, the fact that you can use keto chow, butter with keto chow is why we like keto chow. Because the first time we tried it, we've left that video up there, we were like, yeah, it's good, but I don't want to use heavy cream because too many carbs and avocado oil is expensive. And then when we met Chris about 4 months later, he's like, I discovered, because he didn't even know at the beginning, I discovered that acacia fiber is an emulsifier, and now I can use butter, and that changed everything for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what you want to do. And the same thing with coconut oil, again, because of where it turns into a solid. Next one is from Juliana.
Hey, Juju. It says, keto way beyond the couch. Hike 8 of 52, National Cherry Blossom Festival. Oh, I'm so jealous. I just love cherry blossoms. That's probably one of my very favorite flowers. 5.5 miles. Saw up close Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, FDR's monument, Dr. MLK Jr.'s monument, the White House, Department of Treasury, and we flew some kites. Reminds me of Mary Poppins. First time ever. It was so lovely. DC's. P.S. The helicopter pic was the Presidential Marine 1 or 2. We will never know. Oh my goodness. What a cool exploration of Washington, D.C. And honestly, because I lived in Northern Virginia for 4 years. That's where Caleb was born. I used to work for the Washington Post years ago. And I love cherry blossom season, and it's just such a gift. And cherry blossoms, they do their thing when they want to, right? I mean, they blossom and you get that full thing, and you can't ever guarantee exactly what week will be the hit. And so I'm so glad you got to see it, because boy, they are just so beautiful.
Let's jump into some of the chat. I just saw this from Pam. Pam said,
Pam.
I want to start keto today. I have keto chow. How much butter? So again, keto chow is great. Understand the real purpose of keto chow is for those on-the-go meals. Like, hey, I always keep a few made. Like, I came home from my game yesterday. It was late. Not my game, from diving. I wanted to eat something. Rachel wasn't ready to eat. I just, was out diving all day. Well, I could grab some garbage, or I can grab a keto chow, and there is my meal. That's what keto chow is for, instead of going for fast food, something like that. My suggestion is always start with around 400 calories of fat. So 4 ounces of heavy cream, 4 tablespoons of butter. That is a great place to start. And then you're going to have a bunch of meat for the rest of your meals.
Oh, Serena lived in Herndon, Virginia for a while. I did too. I lived in Herndon, and then I moved to Leesburg, and Caleb was born in Loudoun County. I lived in the Foggy Bottom area of Washington, D.C. I actually used to do my grocery shopping at the Watergate building. There's a grocery store. What a historic site. It was kind of cool.
Keto Simple said this weekend the Ohio meetup was a smashing success.
Awesome.
Lots of fun people. I was glad to be able to make the trip.
I'm so glad y'all got together.
Community.
It's so important.
We are so thrilled to see community growing in keto. That was our goal when we started our channel 4 years ago.
And
5 years ago.
what you find once you go to some kind of local thing, you're surprised that you may live within a very reasonable distance of somebody near you. Like, I love, like, Sabrina, and I know that her and Lisa have gone, like, out to eat because they found out, like, they lived in Kokomo, Indiana, and didn't live very far from one another. So they've gotten together even after they first met.
Look, you're going out tonight.
Yeah, I'm going out tonight with Robin F. because she's going to be in town for work, and you've got a game tonight. So it's girls' night tonight. Like, I'm really excited. So you never know until you meet up. We met each other in person at the Orlando Summit, I believe is the first time that Robin and I got to see each other in person. And then you realize, we would talk about cities.
Right.
And so she's like, well, I'm down in Sunrise sometimes. And I was like, well, I am not far from Sunrise. Right. That's by Sawgrass Mills Mall. So, like, whenever she's down in town, let's get together. Yeah. Same when we're up by near, Cape Canaveral, we get to see Chris and Megan because they live by that place.
John said, hello, everyone. Day 20
John.
of Beef Butter Bacon Egg. Doing good.
Yay.
13 days left. Weight loss slowed, but I started noticing a difference in the mirror and see how my clothes fit.
I love
Feeling
it.
good, and I don't care what the scale
I'm so glad
fits.
you don't, John, because first of all, doesn't it feel good to know that I said I'm going to do this and I am doing it? I feel like the follow through, we don't celebrate enough the fact that we are people of commitment. That was the thing that I used to always be really down on myself, that it was like, well, I can, stick to something for 2 whole days together and then I fall off the wagon. But you're you said 20 days in? That's amazing.
Ginger said, so my
Ginger.
aunt called me last Thursday and wanted my help. She wanted to learn how to do keto.
Ooh.
Y'all, I'm so excited.
Oh, that is awesome. That is really, really awesome.
Teresa said, got back from
Hi,
Florida
Teresa.
vacation over 3 weeks. I lost 2 pounds and some inches. That's always great when you come back from vacation and lost weight.
That
right?
never happened before keto for me.
I watched y'all as much as I could to keep me encouraged. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Teresa, congratulations. I'm telling you, before keto, and you can verify, I never came back from a vacation not up 10 pounds. Never before keto. I don't care what we were eating. I always came home from a vacation up.
Becky said, perfect motivation for
Becky.
diving. Grab your food while you're there. Need me some redfish. I'm waiting for hogfish season.
Yes, you actually were able to snag a couple lionfish.
Yeah, we've had lionfish. We've had lobster. I was trying to get lobster yesterday because this is the last week of lobster season. Found a couple nice big ones.
Did they
One
skunk ya?
I could not get out of the hole. And then
That's
the
what she said.
second one, I got my lasso behind him, but I put it in upside down and
Do you
I
have to
couldn't get
swing
it
it?
underneath him.
Gotta swing it like this.
Then I was really upset. I get back on the boat and there was this other dive master who was also down. He was down with a friend of his, and he had 6 lobsters. And I'm like, I want
Can I
one
have one of
those."
your lobsters?
I know.
Is
But
it neat?
yeah, so this is the last week of season. Season ends the 31st. I'm hoping I'd like to go do a night dive because that's when they're all out.
What was really cool was you had met through dive, because that's another thing. It's kind of fun to meet people in whatever community and like be able to talk to them. And you were diving with somebody who was a marine biologist, so it was like even the coral you could ask about, and
Yeah.
they knew, yep, that's what this is, that's what that is. That's got to be cool.
It is cool.
It's like
The
you're traveling
interesting
with an
thing for me,
encyclopedia.
one of the instructors with the dive shop that I go to, because again I'm training to be a dive master, so sometimes I'll go out with her. It's always interesting because she's a vegan.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can't hunt when she's there because she doesn't want to be part of me hunting.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
So
that
I
you
respect her.
it.
I
Yeah.
do respect her until I pull out my meat snacks in between dives. But I do try to go off into the corner to not upset her too much.
That's nice.
I'm not trying to create enemies. Like,
No.
she has her beliefs, I have my beliefs.
That's right.
So, Nicole said, my husband,
Hey,
son, and I have
Nicole.
all been sick, so we
Aw.
have been prioritizing getting in the sunshine on our face in the
Yes.
morning and whenever we can. We
I'm
live in
so
Arizona.
sorry that you've been sick, though.
That
That's just
sunshine will definitely help.
that is such a bummer, though.
Patty said, I'm
Hey,
a
Patty.
redhead who used to burn badly, but since eating the proper human diet, I can be out in the sun all
There
day and
is
never burn.
something to this, because I'm telling you, I
Now-
have a very ruddy complexion also.
And I will say, will you turn red and possibly get a sunburn? Well, yeah, if you are out there
Yeah.
constantly, of course you will. But what we have found is we don't get the blisters. It goes away within a day. Even Rachel, when we went to Discovery Cove, she got some sun.
I did.
But within a day, it just all turned tan. Whereas it used to just like blister, peel off, and you were back to being white.
Now use good sense. Now I know common sense isn't all that common now.
I don't have any.
I mean, I'm not going out there in a G-string and spending 25 hours straight out in the sun now. Like we got to use some sense. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I wear a hat.
I'm waiting for you to, like, I would love for you to go out and just go in our backyard
Yeah,
with a G-string.
but we're not doing that. Nobody wants to see that. We're going to have the neighbors put their house up for sale, and I enjoy having neighbors. So, but we use
I
good
know.
sense. But, like, yeah, it is very interesting. The fact that we start eating the meat and we don't get all burnt and blistered. That's crazy, right?
So Pam said I need to start today. Type 2 diabetic and struggles are real for sugar, carb
You can
control,
do
and
it.
carb
You
control.
can do it. No
can do it.
one is worse than us.
Make
That's
sure
the good
you're
news.
in our community. Go over
Yes.
to members.2krazyketos.com. You don't even need the paid membership. Do the
Just
free one.
public, yeah.
Get in there and just lay it all out there.
Just say, hey,
And
howdy,
there
hey.
are people are going to help you.
I'm Pam.
Becca said, I find that when my
Becca.
ketones are really high, I don't sleep much at all. Yeah, that goes back to eating a lot
Yeah.
of fat before bed. I find the same thing. Just like on a fast, like 24 hours into a fast, I'm not sleeping that
He
night.
can't sleep.
I've got so much energy
You're
because
just-
my ketones are up.
Yeah, you're just getting revved up. So,
Whereas most people who, if carb people, they don't eat, they get tired. Us, the longer we go without eating, the more energy we have.
well, and I will tell you, because for Pam, if you're getting started on keto, I'm going to tell you, it ticked off my mother. It really upset her because you don't need to sleep as much. And she was like, gracious, I'm getting up. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm mad about it. But you do get an increased energy as you are switching over to a fat-fueled life. So just brace yourself for the fact that it may feel odd. I mean, everybody wants increased energy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're like, I'm so glad that I don't have that crash in the midday at work. I feel like I'm very much more productive. However, when you're getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning and you're like, well, I'm done sleeping, I guess, sometimes it's not always welcome, right? Like sometimes it makes you like, man, I just want to sleep in on a Saturday morning, and you're like, I can't.
Right. That's one other thing that I meant to mention. If you're having problem going to sleep, as soon as you get up in the morning, go expose yourself to the sun.
Yeah.
Go outside. Just for a minute. Just go expose yourself to the sun. Cool thing about our body is, again, you go back to circadian rhythm, your body will be ready to go to bed about 12 hours after you expose it to the sun for the first time.
Isn't that
so if
neat?
you don't go outside until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, guess what time you're going to be ready to go to bed?
In 12 hours.
In 12 hours. So
That's why you can lay there and be like, it's 10 o'clock at night, and you can be like, I know I should be tired. I've had a whole day.
Yep. When did you expose yourself to the sun?
Exactly. Yep. Ask yourself if it's midnight before you fall asleep.
Yeah. So Carrie said,
Hey, Carrie.
I have a small program on my computer to block out the lights that are problematic. And
Smart.
on the night light feature of my Linux computer to help me, I get tired before bed.
That's good.
And the programs on the some of the different monitors have like blue light, and even my car has a thing like to eliminate blue light. Those will help, but it's a very small portion. People don't realize the dangerous lights that it's like, yeah, we've all heard about computers and screens, but you also have your television. And one of the worst offenders is these. All these LED lights and all these light fixtures we have in the house. That's why we like to wear our glasses, some type of a blue light glass, not just at the computer, but whenever you have lights on in the house. And as much as possible, especially during the day, turn them off.
Yeah.
If you open your windows, if you can, I mean, we like to live in a bat cave, and still, like, the nice thing in our kitchen is we have that, like, skylight thing.
Yeah.
So
you can still you can turn all the lights
off. As much
off.
as you can, turn off the lights and just allow the natural sunlight to come in, because all of these LED lights, they're not good for us. And remember, they're not even that old, so we don't even know the long-term effect of all these LED lights. It's not like the incandescent bulb that's been around forever. These put off different wavelengths of light.
Well, it's interesting, watching Peyton this week, even we were like, you're baby proofing the bedroom, especially to make sure, because she was sleeping in the room with us in her pack and play. And it was like we were making sure that we were baby proofing the room for light, because we didn't want her to be aggravated. We wanted her to sleep soundly. So we made sure that she was bundled up snugly, that the temperature in the room was just right, and that the lights were all off, and that we were minimizing noise and things that would, upset her. Well, baby proof it for you. We did all that because Peyton is precious to us and we want her to get good sleep. Well, you're precious to us too, and we want you to get good sleep. So baby proof your room. Go through your room and say, like, are there things, chargers and such, and like things on your television that's just putting up a light of some sort, because you'd be surprised your skin feels those lights and are aware of them even when you close your eyes to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Julie said, I hear marine biologists immediately think George
Costanza. Yes, so, I love that episode.
It's funny she says the thing about George Costanza.
Play golf.
So yesterday I was diving, and again, I was hunting, and I ended up doing a lot of reef cleanup, because one of the problems with the Florida reefs, which it's an amazing barrier reef, and we have 3 reef lines along Fort Lauderdale, is that boaters are allowed to be there. And so they ruin the reef. Yeah. It's not protected like the Great Barrier Reef.
Right.
So you go down there, and as a matter of fact, like a bunch of people from the dive shop that I go to, they're doing a reef cleanup on Saturday. And I can't go because we're going up to go to Busch Gardens for Caleb's birthday.
His birthday's March 30th.
Their whole idea is they're doing a double dive to just swim and clean the reef. Like, pull off, you find fishing hooks and lines. I pulled up an anchor yesterday.
Isn't that
where
pitiful?
Somebody anchored onto the reef and then cut it loose because it got stuck. I pulled up I found 3 Celsius cans.
Why are you anchoring on the reef?
I don't know.
Why are you doing that?
That's the point. They're ruining our reef.
And aren't we number 2? It's like the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah. And then we have
one of the largest barrier reefs in the world. Yeah.
Who knew? Florida.
So, I found a garbage can. Somebody literally threw one of those big wooden, like you would see in a park where it's got like this wood slats and you put a garbage can. It's literally somebody just dropped it. But I came across it, all of a sudden I found like 20 golf balls. And when I came up, I picked them all up, and we put them in the garbage can.
That's a dirty way to do.
Because people are like, the yachts, they're playing driving range off the back of their yacht. They were Titleists. And it was funny. So the captain goes, I started putting them in the garbage can. He was like, Titleist? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, Seinfeld, because remember the way they
that like Kramer was like practicing, right? And it got stuck inside of the blowhole of a whale.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
The one who knows.
The one who knows.
I've lost 102 pounds since January 15th of 2021.
Way
264 pounds down to 162. Yes. That constitutes 39.2% of my total starting weight. 66-year-old, 5'10".
68.
Oh, 68. 5'10" male.
Way
Wow.
to go. You are the one that knows. That's pretty awesome. And again, thank you for including your age, because I think that we get into a very much wrong mindset where we're like, I am past the point age-wise of help. Right? We're not capable of doing new things. We're not capable of getting healthy. We're never going to be able to see deprescription of our medication because we're too old and it's been too long. And that's not what we're seeing in keto. We're able to turn things around no matter what age. What was Dr. Lenska saying? He was deprescribing for an 80-year-old woman. And not only did she not have to go into assisted living, but now she's doing better than ever walking 2 miles a day.
Yep. Susie said, my opinion,
Susie.
maintenance is change nothing. Our body stops losing when it gets to happy place. Dance with the one that brought you.
I love
like that.
it.
Now, the other thing I would say, again, if you're trying to evaluate, I like what Dr. Berry says, like keto carnivore is weight optimization. It's not weight loss. Your body will find a place where it settles and it wants to be happy. But you also have to look at what you're eating. When he says that, if you're severely under eating and a lot of what you're eating is garbage, or you're eating a lot of keto treats, yeah, you could be having an issue. But if you're just eating a lot of meat and maybe some veggies and an occasional treat, you should be eating until you're comfortably full, and then not eating when you're not full. And maybe, so 1, 2, maybe 3 meals a day. Your body will settle in where you want, where it should be and where it is happy. But if you're eating 8 meals a day, 6 meals a day, and a meal is anything that you put in your body, if you eat 7 nuts, you just had a meal. Whether or not it filled you up or not, you had a meal.
It happens.
Because you're giving your body a bunch of fuel. So if you're doing that, yeah, your body's not going to settle into where it wants to be. You need to do it right, and that is eat the right foods and only eating when we're truly hungry. And beef, butter, bacon, egg we love because it will help you figure out when are you really hungry.
And something that happens that I think, where we can go wrong in maintenance, we get to the weight that we want and we want to stay there, and it can be hard to stay there, right there at it's the hardest part of like scuba diving.
Our body's not designed to stay there.
Is floating perfectly. There's a dive instructor, I guess it's Missy, that
She's
is like
amazing.
You could see her, and she takes this like genie position, and she is just like this. It's very hard to stay like this and not be tilting up or tilting down in some way.
When she hovers,
where she's not touching nothing.
Well, the thing is that it's breath control,
right?
And I am very good at getting neutrally buoyant. That's what it's called. Neutrally buoyant is where you're not constantly adding air to your BC. And I dive with no weights. I dive with a steel tank and a back plate, so I have no weights. So I get down to the bottom, you add a little bit of air, get neutrally buoyant, and now you should float. After that, you should never add air to your BC. Everything is breath control. So you suck air in, you're going to go up because you're adding air to your lungs. If you exhale, you go down. So if you watch me, I will go up with a breath and down and up and down. And I stay within 2 feet. She's like here.
Yeah. Well,
like,
and it's
she's perfectly neutrally buoyant.
But what's happened is it's very hard to stay like that, because that's what we're asking of our bodies. We're saying, like, whatever is the number, let's say 150 pounds is like your perfect, like that's my goal weight. You get to 150 pounds and now you're trying to do this, right? You're trying to stay exactly the same. That's what you're thinking when you're thinking maintenance. But what's happening the entire time that you are losing weight is you're having all of these wins, these celebrations. You feel really good about yourself, right? Because you're like losing weight, and you're like, yay, yay, yay. Once you get to like your goal weight, what are you celebrating? What is a win? What is continued success? You're gonna have to look outside of nutrition and your eating, other than just staying on plan, for your wins. That's what you're doing now, as you are like, hey, now I'm, getting certified as a diver. Now I'm going to do Dive Master. You're still allowing yourself wins when you're trying things that are new, because otherwise there's no more giant wins. I don't get on the scale anymore and be like, yay, I lost 15 pounds this week. like we did when we started. And you can get very upset if you never have anything new to celebrate. So you kind of have to look outside of that. Like you continue, you're eating the same stuff. But in order for you to be happy with yourself and celebrating something, you got to be doing some new stuff.
Yeah. Brandon said, I am type 2, as you know, waiting on my CGM. I've seen so much info on lowering my glucose. I'm confused. Do I do fasting and only eat when the sun comes up and maybe lunch? Please help clear up. So quickly, so it's not about, yes, you want to have a lower glucose. You want to have a steady glucose. That's the thing that we're looking for first. A steady glucose, not having these big spikes. Now, are you going to have spikes? Yeah, when you do your exercise, your glucose is going to go up. You got to know what's causing it to go up. The best time to eat is during the daytime hours. It's not possible for everybody. The next thing that you need to do is make sure you're only eating a couple times a day, because every time you eat, you're going to have an insulin reaction. Even Dr. Berry said the other day, and I know people always argue, even fat will cause a slight insulin reaction. You can't check your insulin. There's no way for you to check your insulin at home. So the next thing we have to look at is our glucose. But just know that every time you eat, you release insulin. Insulin is a fat storing hormone because it's a growth hormone. You can't lose weight in the presence of insulin. It's one of the reasons that type 1 diabetics are many times skinny.
Right.
Because they don't have insulin. They have to inject themselves with insulin. And as Dr. Lenska said, now what we're finding is type 1 diabetics gaining weight because they're giving themselves so much insulin.
Yes.
They're becoming insulin resistant.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gracious, that's awful.
So yeah, those are the things you need to look at. Keto Simple said, I've seen people fry up the big sand fleas. They look interesting. I tried them. Have you ever seen or tried this? No, I haven't tried that.
I've fished with sand fleas before. They're good, like fish and things, and it's really fun for kids to like dig them up. But yeah, and you know, we have eaten insects, especially if, I don't know if you've seen any of our like keto fear factor. Which is really fun, Keto Camping Fear Factor. We have eaten different bugs, but like, yeah, we're really one of like the few nations that don't eat a lot of bugs, insects, because it's a very, inexpensive fuel, protein source.
Two more real quick. John said, how to start keto. Stop eating sugar and starches, eat more meat and eggs, and most importantly, watch lots of Too Crazy Ketos and Dr.
I love you, John.
Brenda said, Joe and
Hey,
Rachel,
Brenda.
you just cleared up my sleep issues. I do work in the house like noon, then go outside to do things outside that make so much sense. Thanks. My son has also said no sunscreen too.
And you know what's funny? My mom and I were talking this weekend about how we used to get the newspaper. And that would be reason enough that first thing in the morning, you might be in your bathrobe, but you would go out and even pick up the paper, which would put you outside. Maybe you would like go walk the dog. You'd look around, right? You would go and have a reason to go outside. But now there isn't, like, who's getting the newspaper hardly anymore, right? Like, I mean, it hurts my heart because I worked for the Dead Tree version of the newspaper, right? So, but you don't go out even to get your newspaper. So there's no reason, unless you have a dog you've got to walk, to even go outside.
That's right.
Before 11 o'clock.
We're going to end on this because I got to go pick up the RV. Grateful Keto said, we won the lottery. We don't even realize that.
You are so right. That is such a great perspective.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 211. We will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody have a great week.
We love
Bye.
you.